Hey everybody, Mark Callahan, Mr. Saltwater Tank here inside of Tampa, Florida on a custom install that I've been working on for the past couple of weeks. Actually, this project was a month, several months, in progress from when we first conceived of it to when it's in place. So I'm going to walk you through this tank in its entirety so you get a sense of how this comes together. This is a 450-gallon tank made by Planet Aquariums. Dimensions are 8 feet across the front, 30 inches tall, and then 36 inches front to back. So this is in a private home in the Tampa area, Tampa, Florida area. This is in their main living area. So as you walk into their kitchen here, you get a sense across, that's what they get to look at every day when they get to look at the tank. So that's where it's placed. Let me walk you through this thing up close and personal so you understand how it fits together and how I made this thing create. All right, 17-foot wall that this is on. This looks like a built-in, but it's actually not. This 8-foot tank, we looked at a 12-foot tank, we looked at 10, client liked 8, so we went with 8 feet. A couple things I wanted to do on this tank was make it as viewable as possible, because when you walk in the front door, we want to be able to see the tank. So we did some things with the aquascaping. I put 2 tunnels through these separate pieces of rockwork so fish can swim towards you and away from you to create more depth with the tank. That's part of what I did with the Reef rock that I used on this tank. And I kept all 3 sides viewable. So I wanted to make it as open as possible. I had a couple opportunities to do some unique things on this tank. I'll show you. One challenge with this project was all the filtration had to fit underneath this tank. There was no place for a fish room, anywhere to do that. The only thing that could be remote on this is the RODI unit, which is actually upstairs and under a sink in a guest bathroom. Everything else is underneath the tank. I'll walk you through that in a minute. So I had to make this fit underneath. Now that worked. I had a fair amount of room to work with because I had a 17-foot wall and the owners liked the idea of having woodwork around the tank. The tank is 36 inches front to back. So that gave me some big areas like this to work with. So this is 50 inches this way, 40 inches that way. Lots of room to put filtration as well as put it underneath the tank. This worked because I was able to spill out to the side. There's some goodies over here I'll show you in a minute. The acrylic work was done by Bashy. Steve Bashy and his crew up in Michigan. So there's about 40 gallons of RODI holding water here, about 40 gallons of saltwater mixing there. It's their own container. This is plumbed up into the main display tank. The client doesn't have to do anything when it comes to refilling the tank. All they have to do is turn some valves. Now they will have to pump water away from the tank because there's no drain nearby. But we'll be doing automatic water changes on this thing, so they won't have to do that very often, if ever. Water then comes out of the tank down to the drains, to a filter stock area, into what will be a refugium, and then the return pump is over here. Some of you may be asking, well, where's the skimmer? Where's the media reactors? They're over here. This worked again because I had this big space to work with. So this is a separate sump that holds the skimmers and the media reactors. Separate from the main sump here. They're plumbed together, but this way, since I had all this space, I was able to use this space to get the filtration out. Otherwise, all this would have to fit in here. It actually will fit, but then I wouldn't have any space for refugium. Now, could I put the refugium over here and this stuff in there? Yeah, I could have, but one of the reasons I wanted to put it over here was to help the client avoid having to crouch under the tank as much as possible. That's what this door is for. The door is currently off at the moment, but when it's on, this will flip down and make for a solid surface here to conceal everything. But when the client wants to clean the skimmer or check the media reactors, all they have to do is flip up the door. They have access to the electronics here. They can clean the skimmer cup, take it away without having to crouch down. Crouching down underneath tanks is not a lot of fun. This client didn't have much of a choice on this one because of where they were going to place it. There's no place for a fish room. But automatic water changes happen automatically. Everything is monitored by the Apex, so there's not much that he really has to do other than clean the skimmer cup, and I made that as easy as possible with a big bay and a big skimmer sump that gives him plenty of room to get around and this flip-top door. So everything happens automatically. As I said, Neptune Systems Dose takes care of the water changes. RODI unit is upstairs, but it refills the RODI holding vat here. Auto top-off pulls from here. Saltwater mixing, automatic water change pulls from here. This whole thing sits in a tray made by Planet Aquariums as well. If there's a leak, the Apex will check that and let me know if anything's wrong, shut things down accordingly. So that's how everything is plumbed together. That makes this part of the system works. Upstairs in the tank, it is powered by 6 Ecotech Marine XR30 Pros, Generation 4s with T5s. Just add a little extra light to the tank, a little flatter light. This is all on a light rack that I've designed that can go up and down with a touch of a button to make it very easy to access the tank. 2 C-swirls give us a variety of flow, sweep the flow around. An internal flow is handled by 2 Ecotech Marine MP40s in the back, and then 2 mass spec gyres, one on either side, handle internal flow. That's how this whole thing fits together. This client wanted this woodwork on this tank to match their kitchen, which Rick, my woodworker at Harpers River Woodworks in Nolensville, did a great job with this. This is a shaker style woodwork, which matched the kitchen, which is exactly what they wanted. So that's how this happens. Overall, that's it. That's the 450-gallon tank I've been working on. I'm actually off to Atlanta tonight to go look at a fish room that I'm putting in and a new 450-gallon tank. Same dimensions, but that tank gets a fish room. Here's one way to get it done when you don't have a fish room. Make everything as seamless as possible and as automatic as possible to minimize maintenance.